As the Clone Wars began to draw to a close and the Jedi were falling deeper and deeper into corruption in order to stay on top of the separatists, many Jedi began to feel that the Order had begun to lose their way. This of course included one of the Jedi's greatest healers, Barriss Offee. Barriss Offee became so upset and disgusted at what the Jedi were doing that she horrifically attacked the Jedi Temple and framed her best friend Ahsoka Tano for it, leading to her being expelled from the Jedi Order. But which battle finally caused Barriss to turn towards the dark side and forever turn away from the Jedi path? Let's find out. Before we get into it, make sure you're subscribed for more awesome Star Wars lore content. So the story begins on the war-torn and sacred world of Phorose, deep in the Colonies region of the galaxy. Phorose was home to many ancient temples and sacred locations, very important to the Republic, but just like many of the other planets of the galaxy, it soon came under harsh attack by General Grievous and his separatist forces. As the invasion began on the surface, Jedi General Plo Koon, along with his good friend Ahsoka Tano and Barriss Offee, were sent there to repel the advances of the battle droid forces. Master Plo is dropped straight down onto the surface of the planet with his clone troopers, but Barriss and Ahsoka are left on the gunship, hovering above the battle and waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Eventually, the two Jedi ignite their lightsabers and leap from the gunship onto a droid tank below. A single B-1 battle droid is terrified when he sees the two Jedi girls leap down, and he screams out to his droid brothers, but Barriss cleanly slices his head off, while Ahsoka chops the cannon off the front of the tank. Following this, the battle droids seem to have their programming modified by their commander, and Ahsoka voices her concerns about this to Barriss, believing that the battle droids have had their maniac mode activated by Count Dooku or General Grievous. Barriss agrees that they do seem far more accurate and much more motivated to push forward compared to the other battle droids, but urgently warns Ahsoka that they need to find cover. As the two Jedi move to a nearby corner, they are very quickly surrounded by a large pack of droidekas, which Ahsoka knows is far too many and will very quickly overwhelm them. Barriss, however, suggests that they leap up to a nearby ledge, as droidekas rarely ever think to look up. Ahsoka and Barriss then continue rushing through the charred and smouldering rubble, with Ahsoka complimenting her friend, but warning her that there are far more droids now coming for them. This worries Barriss even further, as she knows that the way this battle is going, there won't be much of this city left to even defend. Barriss is completely disgusted that a whole city on this sacred planet is being destroyed for a war she believes is completely pointless and against the Jedi Code. Following this, things get even worse for the two Jedi, as a swarm of separatist tri-fighters immediately rush in and open fire at their location, detonating a massive blast behind them. This blast then tears a massive hole into the ground and sends the two Jedi plummeting down deep below the surface until they eventually land in the brightly lit catacombs of the ancient city. Barriss then immediately moves over to see if Ahsoka is okay, but she has unfortunately hit her head, leaving her vision spinning. Luckily, however, her injuries are only temporary, and the two quickly begin moving forward. Ahsoka is then relieved that the two are out of the line of fire for the droids, but knows that they must get moving immediately if they want to have any chance of saving the city from total destruction. The two Jedi Padawans then begin desperately searching for a route back to the surface, but Ahsoka notes that these tunnels don't look like any natural rock formation that she's ever seen. Barriss agrees with this and very quickly realizes that these are no tunnels. These are burrows. Something is alive down here. Ahsoka hopes to the Force that whatever these creatures are more friendly to the Republic than the Separatists, and very soon after, Barriss connects deeply with the Force and immediately senses something not far ahead. Ahsoka can't feel this mysterious presence in the Force as much, but instead feels a complete stillness, just like she feels at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant. As the two Jedi move forward, they are shocked and amazed to find a group of tiny, fluffy creatures. Barriss is in awe at how beautiful and cute these creatures are, but Ahsoka is confused, asking her good friend, what are they? Of course, Barriss has done more homework for her mission than Ahsoka, so she immediately recognizes them as the Rue species. The Rue are native to this planet and can often be found scavenging for scraps around the marketplaces of Phorose. Barriss then recalls that during her research for the mission, she found that the locals on the planet regard these creatures as pests, which absolutely disgusts her, considering they are smarter than they look. They have even developed their own spiritual culture and holy temples under the ground. So let me know in the comments down below where these creatures rank on your top cutest creatures in the galaxy. Of course, Grogu's gonna be on the top, but let me know where these guys rank for you. Unfortunately, their little gathering is interrupted as Ahsoka notices the loud clanking sound of the battle droids approaching the area. A group of B-1 battle droids, along with the B-2 unit, begins storming towards Ahsoka and Barriss, and they report to their tactical droid commander that they are reading multiple lifeforms, knowing that the Jedi are nearby. The tactical droid then orders the B-1 units to exterminate both the Jedi and the local creatures. Ahsoka demands that the two begin running or they will be caught and killed by the battle droids, but Barriss refuses to leave, telling Ahsoka that the Rue have evolved their own spiritual culture and they are just as important to protect as the human locals of the planet. Immediately after this, one of the little Rue creatures begins communicating with Barriss, and she quickly understands that it is trying to point the two Jedi to the surface. Ahsoka then tells Barriss to take the creatures to the surface while she remains in the tunnels to fight back the battle droids, hoping that the Rue will survive the dangerous encounter. As Barriss exits the cave with her new tiny friends, Ahsoka leaps into the air, calling the lead B1 unit a panface. Unfortunately, because the battle droids on this planet had their commands modified, they were far more fierce and their blasters fired much faster, putting Ahsoka in severe danger. Ahsoka, however, is still far too smart for them, ripping down the roof and crushing each of the clankers under the glowing vines and falling rocks. Unfortunately, this destroys the sacred underground temple. Moments later, Ahsoka is shot back up to the surface with tremendous force, and Barriss is very happy to see that her friend made it out okay. Ahsoka then delivers the tragic news about the destroyed temple below, and Barriss is even further disgusted. She says, "This endless war sees us destroy so much, all in the name of the Republic, in the name of the Jedi," absolutely seething at how far the Jedi have fallen. Ahsoka, however, defends the Order, telling Barriss that they only fight in this war because they must. Barriss is about to fire back at her good friend, but they are very quickly interrupted by Plo Koon on their comms device, who orders them to evacuate to a nearby southwest location. Ahsoka is immediately ready to go, but Barriss is still stunned, asking, "What now? We can't just abandon the Rue here. They'll be slaughtered in the crossfire." Ahsoka then tells Barriss that their orders are to get to the evacuation point on the ridge before offering to take the Rue with them. This is a perfect compromise for Barriss, so she brings the tiny creatures with her and begins loading them onto the Republic gunship. Hilariously, the clone pilot walks out and sees Barriss loading up the creatures, worried that he will get in trouble for going against his orders. Barriss, however, offers to take full responsibility for going against the orders and taking the little creatures on board before ordering the clone pilot to take the safest route possible. Barriss then pledges that once the fighting is over, she will help to rebuild their underground temple and bring them back to a peaceful life without war. Unfortunately, however, a group of Vulture droids immediately swarm their gunship as they take off, very quickly shooting down the vessel, sending it towards the surface in a fiery blaze. As the ship crashes into a massive fireball, Ahsoka is unharmed and begins frantically searching through the rubble, scared to death that Barriss is hurt. Luckily, she does eventually find Barriss, and thankfully the Rue creatures have survived. Ahsoka quickly informs Barriss that not a single clone trooper made it out alive from the crash, which sends tears streaming down Barriss's face as she angrily says, "No, this is our fault. Every Jedi carries the burden of responsibility. We brought the war here, and we destroyed everything." Ahsoka puts her arm on Barriss's shoulder, but she continues saying, "Anger, fear, hatred, these are the emotions of which a Jedi must be wary. But what about our guilt?" Not long after this story, unfortunately, Barriss turns on her good friend and frames her for the attack on the Jedi Temple, completely falling to the dark side. So in the end, the death of all of her clone troopers, along with the destruction of an ancient temple, and seeing just how little the Republic care about the smaller species which don't have representation in the Senate, Barriss was turned to the dark side and away from the corrupt Republic. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.